And of course, I'm not doing this alone today. I've got Sam with me today on the show. Good afternoon to you, Sam, and thank you for joining me again today, Sam.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you, Kazeem, for having me again, and looking forward to this show. My my response is going to be ask Kazeem anything if I don't know the answer.
All right, so like I mentioned, so today's episode, we've decided to title it Ask Sam and Kazim Anything. That's anything tech related now. And of course, Sam is not a newcomer on the show. So Sam has been on the show a few times before. But I guess it would still be nice to introduce yourself, just to learn a little bit more about you, Sam, for the listeners that are just tuning in, our first-time listeners now. So, Sam, can you tell us a little bit about you, Sam?
Yeah, sure. My name is Sam Erskine. I'm based out in the UK, but I grew up in Ghana. I like to think about myself as a technology simplification expert. I'm also an author and do a lot of public speaking. And at the moment, I'm head of cloud engagements for a large organization that bring assets into the cloud, regardless of provider. So we work with all the different providers. But I'm looking forward to chatting to Kazeem. I've been in technology for nearly 25 years. So it's a little bit of experience, but I'm still learning. And that's me, Kazeem.
All right, so we're going to just kick things off with people asking the questions that they would like to ask. But already I've got Big Sam and also Umida are producing the show this afternoon with me. And we have some students in the studio as well, so we're waiting in for their questions to come in now. So while we get things on the way, you can start to send in your questions. The phone line is 080-555-55957. So I'll take that again, 080-555-55957. We have some students already here with us. Did you have any questions you'd like to ask Sam or myself now? So your name and then you can ask your question.
Okay, my name is David from Faculty of Education, Accounts and Education Department, and I'm here at Last Radio. So my question is that we've been learning of different types of techs in Nigeria nowadays, and my question is that how is this tech is going to help students on campus and how to go about it?
Yes, is asking how technology can help the students on campus. That there are so many technologies out there today. So how can students on campus put some of these technologies to use?
That's a great question. And I would answer it more around treating it like a meal, right? So if you were in a kitchen and you had all of these ingredients about you, you need to decide what you want to cook and then use what's relevant to you. So if I were to be specific, if you're looking at building a personal brand and profile, you can look into things like, WordPress or software that allows you to create your own website. If you also look into video blog, you may use YouTube or create your own videos. So it all depends on what you are trying to achieve. So narrow down to first, what do I want to do with the technology? And then select the appropriate technology.
Okay, so I hope that answers your question.
Yes.
Okay, and some of this technology as well, in addition to what Sam has said, we can put them to very good use. They can help us learn as well. Just like we're having this conversation now, Sam is not here in Nigeria, and we're able to do this conference call, so I can see him, he can see me, and you're asking him questions. We're doing this on the radio. So I guess you already have that platform also in school now where you can receive some of your lectures online, right? So that's also a technology that students and lecturers can leverage to be able to receive lectures seamlessly regardless of where they are, right?
Indeed, Kazeem, and I will say, in my days of university, went into the library to do research. Now technology is at your fingertips. You can go into any search engine and type an intelligent question or even a dumb question, and it will give you an answer instantly using your phone, tablet, or whatever it is. So from a student's perspective, it's bringing the information quickly to you as well. It's another great use of what's available to you out there.
And I guess later during the course of the show, we can as well share with the students some of these platforms where they can learn a lot more about some of these technologies, so to speak. We also have another student here with us. You have a question for either myself and Sam?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. My name is Denti Priyosi, a 300 level law student. And my question is how to keep one's technology skills up to date and maintaining the current knowledge of it. Do you get my question, sir?
Yes. I don't know. It's Kazeem, do you want to have a first go, or do you want me to have an attempt?
Okay. I can go first on this one. Okay. First thing, it's important to note that long-time learning is key with information technology. So you cannot afford to acquire an IT skill and go to sleep on it, right? So because things continue to evolve every now and then in IT. So the knowledge that you are going to acquire today, in a few years' time, that knowledge is just going to be obsolete. So the key to getting relevant, keeping yourself relevant in IT, is to form that habit of long life learning. So you learn a skill today, in another, so there's going to be an update, to what you've learned. So the onus is on you now to ensure that from time to time, you learn about what is changed, to just continue to keep yourself, current. So that's what I have for you on this one. Sam, you want to?
Yes, I believe the young lady said law, right? So she's third-year law student.
Yes.
Yeah. So from my perspective, to make it very specific, the subject that you're studying gives you a good points to learn more about the technology that's relevant to you. So law itself is evolving, but the platforms that you would use for research, how you write your documentation, even I've experimented with electronic pens for note taking, and that can also help you. So to keep on top of your technology, and map it to something of interest. If law is your passion, then look at how law is using technology and follow that trend. Other ways in which you can evolve and keep on top of it is if you have other subject areas that are of interest, see how technology is improving it. And we've done shows on things like fintech, etc. So typically those technologies that are part of your day-to-day life allow you to keep up those skills. So long as you've got something to anchor it to, that's another good way to evolve it, in addition to what Kazeem has shared.
Good afternoon, Sam.
Hi, Sam. Yes,
Okay.
is your namesake now? So easy
for students to develop different applications to suit their needs, their faculties or departments.
Okay. Did you hear that, Sam?
I did.
Yes. Okay. Good.
I did, but I suppose I can answer it more generally, not specific to Lagos State, right? So, in terms of developing for different faculties, it would always depend on.
Sam, just a moment while
sure.
we wait. There's a question that came in now. Your name, please, and your question.
Like collection of data from small scale business and to analyze data from it. What applications personally?
Oh, okay. So just hold on. So there's a question that came in before yours. So we've taken down the question. So we'll respond to it after the one that we're taking now. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'll just try to note this down. Sam, you can go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So I believe it was about cross-faculty application development. That was the question from Big Sam, right? And I would respond by saying it depends on the communities that you've built. So students can develop independently, but they can share within a community. So without knowing what sort of communities are there, they can still develop individually, publish to, repositories out there, and then let others know that they can grab from there. But the key to it is building a community that allows you to share and create a form of like the open source environment to allow that cross collaboration without involving the actual faculty teams themselves. But Kazeem, if I roll it back to yourself, how are the faculties working together to facilitate this sort of collaboration?
There is a way the different faculties synergize now, but maybe I'm not the right person, to be responding to this one. But I guess in addition to okay.
Yes, how are you? All right, thank you very much.
Okay.
You got a question?
Yes.
Okay.
What factors are to be considered before migrating to the cloud? And the question that came before that one is around what applications is required for data management. For small businesses, yes. So I think in addition to what Sam was mentioning, about the first question before that one now, talking about the different departments now, what tools they can leverage. One tool that I know of from Microsoft, there is this Microsoft Power Platform set of tools. So with Microsoft Power Platforms, you come bundled with a number of tools that people can easily leverage to do a lot of things very easily, so they can even go into development of apps without the knowledge of coding. People no longer need to have a degree in mathematics or in computer science to do all of this very nice looking, sophisticated applications that we see nowadays. So one can leverage on tools like Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate to create these fancy and robust looking applications. So these tools just simply makes it seamless, for us to work with. I guess there's another question also.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, good afternoon. Okay, Rachel from last can we have a question, please? You get that?
How to get
updated on Microsoft yearly.
Oh, okay. All right, so that's another question. So Sam, I'll leave you to respond to this one, the one before this last question.
Okay,
what factors are to be considered before migrating to the cloud?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's most of it is going to depend on what migration means to you. So typically, if you've got something that's legacy that you've invested a lot of money in, that's say on-prem, then you will need to first and foremost decide on whether you want to do what they call lift and shift. So can you actually rebuild it entirely in the cloud and then migrate your data? It doesn't buy you much other than speed most of the time. Ideally, you want to see if you can recreate it, or even better, is there software as a service available to you? Has somebody already done it that you can subscribe to? So the core factors are always going to be the same as have already existed. Do you have the money for it? Do you have good documentation on what it does? And is there an alternative that you can use as a cloud native solution? So that would be your 3 core pillars. But in general, you would have to go through an assessment yourself to work out, well, what is it? How valuable is it? And can I recreate it and shut the other one down? So it's like similar to if I'm moving into a new house, does it make sense to take my TV or is there a TV built into the other house already? So, just moving to that. So that would be your journey to the cloud from a broad sense, but we can dive deeper into it later on if you like.
Yeah, okay, and in addition to what Sam said, so you probably might want to also do a little dig up on the internet on a cloud adoption framework. So, it contains a white paper that you can follow step by step on the to-dos and, what you need to have in place to have a successful cloud migration. We'll need to go on a short break right now, Sam, and we'll be back in just a little bit. All right, so we're back. It's still the Tech Talk Wednesday with myself, Kazeem, and I've got Sam with me on the show to attend to the student questions this afternoon. So Sam, we've got some more students in the studio with questions for you, Sam. So what's
No
who wants to go
pressure at
first?
all.
Yeah.
So my question is, at school here we take computer studies as compulsory courses in Department of Zoology. We take computer studies, we take biostatistics. So can you shed more light on tech in zoology? Like, why are we taking these courses compulsorily? Because we are studying.
Yeah, I will do. You're taking me way back to my days of biology. So when you talk about zoology, you're talking about biology related to animals, right? Is that correct? If I am correct, then it's cool.
She gave a nod. Yeah.
No, she said in a department they make computer science
Compulsory. Okay.
The relation between computer science
and zoology. Okay, the relationship between computer science and what she's studying. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's cool. Computers have become sort of like part of everyday life. So from biology, zoology, or even in history, typically you would have had to do a lot of things manually. The data that's available to you. So it's not so much about thinking about the connection as what has it got to do with it, but it's really how can it help you to dig deeper into that subject. So if you take zoology, for instance, knowing how your way around computers can help you with your research, and it can also help you to write the papers that you need to support that research. So if I were an employer or somebody that's looking at your paper that you've published, if you've got a great use of PowerPoint or whatever presentation program, or documentation program, or data analysis using Power BI or the other, that's going to help you better than another student that is using pen and paper to try and crunch that same data. So it may not be obvious, but as you go along in your journey, you'll realize that it becomes seamless, becomes a bit like breathing. But that'll be my take on it based on the experience I've seen with how computers relate to other domains.
Yes, I think, Sam, you've answered the question really well. Regardless of the department that you're in, regardless of the career that you want to take on nowadays, the knowledge of computer is still going to be required. So you'll be doing yourself a very good favor, learning computer and now before getting out of school. So whether you want to.
Indeed, I also wanted to add that in my career, I've seen people that switch, from being lawyers and are now developers, doctors and switching. So having it gives you a second career option as well. So don't be afraid of it. It could be your next lottery ticket or whatever equivalent it is right now in Niger.
Okay. Yeah. So I think we've got room for just one more question, so we can take your question now. Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Waris, and I study accounting. And my question is relating to the availability of internet connection in Nigeria. In developed countries like USA, UK, I heard that if you subscribe for 1 month internet connection, it is going to last for exactly 1 month. So I want to ask that, is it possible in Nigeria? And if we are going to achieve such things like that in Nigeria, what do we need? Yes, exactly that.
Okay, so I think I would quickly respond to this one. So for yes, we're not quite there yet in Africa, with regards to internet, with regards to connectivity. But if we look way back, some 15, 20 years ago, what we used to have then isn't what we have now. So there's a lot of improvements that has been happening over the time. So I think, yes, we can only say that, yes, we can get better at it, but things has gotten way better than they used to be some 10, 15 years ago. So now we're now starting to have some indigenous ISPs, internet service providers all around the place. We got, for instance, in Nigeria, you've mentioned Nigeria, and also we have Main One, so which is serving as the backbone, even that many of the other ISPs, ride on top of for internet access. So I think, my response to that is, yes, we're not quite there yet, but things, continue to get better by the day. So I think because of time now, this is how much time we've got on the Tech Talk show today. So I'm just going to leave Sam now with the parting words. Any parting words now for the students?
Indeed, I know they came with questions. My question to all of them is, what are you going to contribute? Because even based on the last question, these are all opportunities for you. So everything you've got a question about, if it is a challenge, that's your business opportunity. That's your opportunity to change what's going on. And I would like to have all of them on the other side of the camera so that, Kazeem, you and I can ask them questions in future, right? About how do we do this based on their experience. But thank you for inviting me to the show.
All right, thank you very much. So here's where we're going to call it a wrap on today's episode of the Tech Talk Wednesday with me, Kazeem. So you can rewatch, the previous episode on YouTube. So it's Tech Talk Wednesday on YouTube. So let's continue to keep safe and let's do this again another time. So from myself and Sam and Big Sam,
Yeah.
and from me. So it's bye-bye from all of us.